What's up, guys? So this is my stand-up performance. I've been doing this for, well over 10 seconds now, so it feels amazing, But let's go back. Like, where should we start? So I grew up in Beijing, China, actually, and I lived there for 12 years. And people ask me all the time. They're like, what's China like? Like, what can you tell us about China? And a lot of them also say, like, you actually look more Chinese than you are Italian. A lot of girls tell me it's related to size or something like that. I'm not quite sure what they mean when they say that. But no, like the Chinese people are absolutely insane. They're like the nicest people I've ever met. But a crazy experience that I had from China was with two homeless people, actually. And so let me explain. So as you can tell, I'm Roman Catholic. As you can tell, obviously. I'm not a sinner. So we would go to church every Sunday. Like my dad would be like, we gotta go to church. And I'd be like, amen, let's go. And so there would be these homeless people outside of the church. And honestly, like, kudos to them. Because if I ever go homeless in a couple of years, like I would position myself close to a church. Why? Because God always watches. And every cent that is not given to me, like God will watch. And He will come back to me. So, hello. No. It's off.
Why it's up?
I don't know. We're Satanists here. Like, no one believes in God. I'm sorry, but is there another one? All right, pit stop, change the wheels. We're back. No, so I'm there with my brother. I was 12 years old at the time. My brother was 10. And we're walking to church, and sure enough, we pass these two homeless people. One of them is in a wheelchair, and one of them has no legs. If you're laughing, you're going to hell. And so anyways, we walk past, and one of them is like, 哥们儿, 你有10块钱吗? Which means like, I'm going to rob your entire fucking family if you don't get me. No, I just meant like, do you have 2 euros? And I'm like, what even is that? Like, my dad doesn't pay me. And nowadays, I mean, back then, we didn't have the excuses of like, I'm sorry, do you have like, I don't carry cash, I have card though. And I'm sure there's people that are like, I mean, I have some Ethereum I can pass you, but I mean, if you don't take that, it doesn't work. Bitcoin, I don't know. And there's also some people that are like, I mean, I have PayPal, I can't do that. The other day I was in a Starbucks, and there's this lady working during her thing, probably like editing TikTok videos, I don't know. And a homeless man walks up to her, and he's like, do you have any money? Do you have anything? And she's like, I don't know, she's probably from like Utah or something like that. And she's like, I don't know, like I have PayPal though, do you accept that? And I'm watching this from the other side of the corner, and I'm like, lady, he's like, ¿Qué es un PayPal? You know what I'm saying? What are we doing here? So anyways, back with the, homeless crew, and I'm like, hey, listen, like I don't have anything, like I gotta, spread the word of the Lord. I go to church. So I step this way. And sure enough, the homeless man that was without legs is running towards me now. Well, like running without legs, I should just say he was galloping towards me. I couldn't say running. So he latches himself onto my left leg. And listen, I don't know what type of things you guys go through in your lives, but like this is one of the scariest shit that can happen to you ever in your life. And my first reaction was just like, I just wanted to yeet him into the stratosphere. Like, what is this, And so then, Elon Musk wants to go to Mars. I was like, hey, listen, you got your sample right here. I'm going to take this motherfucker all the way to Mars. He's going to tell us everything we need to know, everything we can find. But then, God came down on me, and he was like, choose dialogue. And I was like, all right, dialogue. Sir, what are you doing on my leg? Like, where do we go from here? And he's like, sir, I just want some bread. I was like, all right, fair enough. I look at my brother, I'm like, oh, it's life or death now. Like, we gotta buy bread. So I take my brother, and we go to the store. And in the meantime, I'm like questioning. I'm like, did we just get sabotaged by the homeless mafia of China? Like, what the fuck are we doing? And so he's like, I don't know, I'm 10. And so we go to the store, we buy the bread, and usually like homeless people are very receptive to gifts. You give them a chocolate, you give them a piece of paper, like they'll eat it, like they're happy. They're like, thank you for the gesture. So I give the bread, and I'm like, I'm the good guy now. I'm like, God, you watching this? Give him the bread. I'm like, you're welcome. Expecting him to say, thank you so much, And he's like, that's it? And now I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? Like, imagine you're walking down La Rambla in Barcelona, all right? And there's a homeless man, and he's like, sir, could I have like a chocolate, like anything works? Like, yeah, sure. and you bring him like a white chocolate, and he's like, who the fuck eats white chocolate, man? I wanted the milk, like the dark chocolate, anything goes, you know? Like, I wouldn't know how to react. You buy him a Twix bar, and he's like, I want Snickers. Like, what the fuck is this? So this story was so engraved in my head that I was like, 17 years later, when I'll be in Barcelona, I'm gonna tell this story. Which brings me here to my first stand-up show. That's what's up. And so yeah, man, this is my first stand-up show, and I'm sure you guys are sitting there, and it's like, Nick, like, what does this feel like, man? Like, it's the first time, you know, you're speaking to people, like, the timing needs to be right, like, how does this all work? And the answer is, I mean, let's touch home base, you know? Your first stand-up is like losing your virginity once again, you know? And let me explain. So I was 17 when I was... and I'm sure people are like, you're a virgin, shut the fuck up. Relax. So I'm 17 at the time, and like at the time, it was such a big deal to me that I lost it before I was an adult, before I was 18. I was like, dude, when did you lose it? He's like, I was 19, you fucking loser. I was 17. I put that on my CV, you know, sent applications, and, you know, haven't received any offers yet, so I might have to remove that shit, actually. And so anyways, you know, we're doing our thing, and I take the beautiful, lucky girl to my room, and we did the deed, you know? And by doing the deed, I mean, like, I was basically like a pilot flying my aircraft looking for an airport that I could not find, you know? And so I'm fucking going around with my aircraft, and like, I can't find anything, you know? And I'm looking, and I'm like, I need to land this shit, like, where do I go, you know? And so I'm looking, like 10 minutes pass, 15 minutes pass, and then I find it. I find something. And so then I begin to descend. I begin to descend slowly, and I go down. And like, it's my first time, like, I need approval like stat, like, I need approval now. And so I'm like, do you like it? And like, expecting her to give me like some words of encouragement, you know? And she like tells me the worst 3 words a man could ever hear in that situation ever. And she's just like, is it in? And so now I'm like, oh man, what the fuck? Like, you know, my man downstairs died. Back down to square one. I try to do some CPR maneuver, like bring it back, like 4, 3, like bring it back. Nothing is working. It's long gone. The private jet has crashed. It's over. It's over, you know. And so now I'm devastated. I'm like, damn it, man. Like, this is my moment. Like, this is my time to shine. I put this on my CV, you know. And before I could say anything, before I start crying, you know, she pulls me in and she's like, hey, come here. I'm like, I'm right here. So I get closer to her, like, I put my ear, and she's like, hey, shit happens. I'm like, so now I'm like, man, fuck this. So I get out of the room, I'm like, I need to like speak to myself in the mirror or something. I need some words of encouragement, you know? So then I look at myself in the mirror, and before I get there, my mom is there. The lights turn on, and she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, are you with someone? And I was like, yeah. She's like, is it a girl? I was like, yeah. She's like, do you love her? And I was like, what? I don't know. So yeah, that's the time I lost my virginity, and I don't know how much time I have left. Should we cut it short? So yeah, anyways, thank you all so much for coming to my first